how iconic you are? Is that an I question?
It's a definitely outside of you question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand where you are, and we are losing it. It is such an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
I think I can say it for us all, we are all huge fans. You've been an icon in Hollywood for over 40 years. Like, the movies, you have helped define generations in the industry. Like, I'm a huge fan. My favorite is Ghost, but I have to go down the line. When you look back at your projects, like, what do you think, like, when you see this? Do you know how fierce you are?
I just think, wow, that was a long time ago.
I have to read. Listen, do you understand? St. Elmo Spire.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
Ghost, A Few Good Men, Indecent Proposal, Disclosure, Striptease, G.I. Jane, Charlie's Angels, and so many more. Like, I am in awe of you. It is amazing. And G.I. Jane, you help redefine what females could be in movies. What do you remember from when you played that role?
You know, one of the most powerful takeaways, I would say, like, I always feel like when you do a role, you're doing the role, but there's always something that is kind of a gift to you that you get to take away from it. And in this case, I think there was an aspect of stepping into what's predominantly was a man's world, and realizing the moment that I, shaved my head, that I realized that men moved forward in life very directly, and that women tended to kind of go back and forth, and that men were very unapologetic about how they moved.
Yes.
And there was something about taking the strength that I had physically and realizing that I didn't want to wear it, I just wanted to move it to the inside.
Y'all better take that with you. So if you could speak to the girl in that photo, what would you say to her?
What would I say? Don't worry, your hair will grow back. What would I say? That we did all right, kid.
You did all right.
Yeah.
And you opened the door for so many women to feel like we could do whatever we wanted to do. You gave us that. So thank you for that.
Yeah, but I would also say just keep asking the questions. Keep challenging the status quo if it doesn't feel like the truth.
Got all the great nuggets, too. Oh, my goodness. And also, I mean, everyone had like the ultimate crush on you. You were the ultimate crush. Was that
See, now the thing is I wasn't that girl.
Yes, you're still that girl.
I was so the nerdy girl who felt like I was playing dress up.
Really?
Seriously, with my, I think the kid that had the cat eye glasses and the wandering eye, so the idea that I was a crush always feels like, no.
Really?
Yes.
No one would ever believe that. I don't. I think you're the girl that every girl wanted to be like, you know what I mean?
Well, that
With your style.
That I like.
Even still to this day, it's like, I think it's super cool, and I love this. Mental health is so important to you. How do you continue to prioritize?
I mean, first of all, I think that it's a combination of things. I think it's really like, where do you place your priorities? And for me, it's in finding balance. And the balance is what's really important. My family is important, the quality. But I think more than anything, it's in the perception that we hold. And I can either look at life as happening for me, as I do, versus happening to me. And by looking at life through that lens, it already changes. And it doesn't mean that everything is always working the way I would want it, but it allows me to step back and receive whatever experience I'm having from a place that is looking for what it's trying to give me as opposed to what it's taking from me.
That Once again, yet another nugget. Okay, that brings me to this, because the theme of this season is choosing joy. How do you choose your joy?
I think that's a perfect segue. For me, the key to that, because I feel like I live every day from that perspective, is that it's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice. Like I choose every day. And I think it comes for me first and foremost through waking up with gratitude.
Yes.
I don't take anything for granted. I literally, like even just like going, wow, it's a new day. I have a new day.
And that is a gift.
I'm here one more day, and it's here for me to make it what I would like to create. I'm not waiting for somebody to give it to me.
Give it to me. Yep. Yes.
In truth, it's like the other part of really choosing joy is saying, how can I be of service?
Right.
How am I in service today?
Yes, ma'am. Well, you're blessing us right now and giving us so much joy. Listen, we have to talk about the substance. I love this movie, this role that you played as an actress. I'm sitting there like, this is major. This is an amazing performance. Y'all need to check this film out. I'm not surprised that it's receiving rave reviews from the critics. They love it, and it is getting Oscar buzz, which you so deserve.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
I mean, I'm still a little bit in shock and a lot of awe. I actually feel extremely, really humbled. I had no idea what to expect because it is, as you've seen, it's quite a wild ride. I mean, it's one I would really suggest if you can see it in the theaters and
You definitely
and
want to
go
see it in the
with
theater.
someone. Don't
You
be
want
alone.
to go with someone, yes.
Just so you have somebody who witnesses it with you. But I think it's really powerful. It's a powerful.
It's necessary. That's what I got out of it.
Beautiful.
And it intrigued my son. We sat up and we watched it together, and I think just the way you portrayed the role and the narrative of the story, it's necessary. That's how I feel about it, and it's very powerful, and you truly delivered. It's amazing.
Thank you.
I got to see it. You need to see it. But can you tell everyone what it's about?
Well, it's a little bit difficult to put it in too or succinctly, but one, it's dealing with aging. It's dealing with the male perspective of the idealized woman that we as women have bought into. And it's also dealing with the pursuit of perfection. And even more importantly, it really explores the violence that we can have against ourselves when the way in which we can speak to ourselves, the thoughts we can have, the negative way in which we can have such a depth of self-loathing. What we talked about earlier, that compare and despair, and it goes to some hardcore, but it does it in such a unique way.
Very unique way.
And there are laughs, I'll just say.
It is. It's well-rounded. What I love about it, and watching it I'm always looking at a project from an actor's standpoint. So I can't help but to think about, like, your character went into so many deep, vulnerable places. I'm curious to know, how did you prepare?
I mean, a lot of it was, first of all, going into it with just the clarity of what were we trying to tell through this. And my personal was, there's not a lot of dialogue. A lot of it is
because a lot
symbolism,
of your scenes is by
it's
yourself,
a lot with just
which is more challenging.
And so it was really about going into it before we ever started with the fullness of Elizabeth Sparkle, who's the character, her life, so that every moment could be as alive as possible. And I feel like I understood her pain. I mean, we're very different people, but I think we've all had those moments, like what we saw in that clip, where you are looking in the mirror and you try to make it a little better, and it just seems to get worse until then you feel so defeated.
This scene right here, like you couldn't help but to feel it and touch your heart and even relate. I really think you really portrayed that part, because like you said, oftentimes we all feel that way. As ladies, we get dressed and we get ready to go, and then you start to pick yourself apart. You really delivered that scene, that's for sure.
Thank you. And I think it's also, what I loved is that while the setting of this is about women, that it really is relatable on a very human level.
Yes,
I think that
definitely.
it's something that men and women alike will find parts of themselves.